Hello everyone. I was planning to show you the latest version of the Numatic Charles way back in February 2023 because I ordered one from myhenry.com back then, and do you know what? They sent me the old model, which I have, despite the fact that the new model was on their website, all over the website. So I thought, well, I'll order it direct from My Henry. They're bound to send me the one they illustrate on the website, but no, they didn't. They sent me the old version, so I sent it back along with the free car care kit that came with it at the time and some extra bags, and that was it until I recently bought this one. If anyone's interested, I bought this from very.co.uk. A lot of people say, where did you get it, where did you get it? That's where I bought this particular one from. I think the very price was about £150, the same at the time as myhenry.com. I got it for a little bit less because I get an ex-colleague discount from Very, so I might have got another 15% off that price. So there you go. Right, so here he is. This is the latest Charles with the front-mounted switch and the improved cord rewind, just the same as the latest George and the latest Henry wash. Okay, without any further ado, I'm going to open him up and take a closer look. I thought I'd have a change from my traditional unboxings where I do everything so precisely and carefully and with love, and give Charles a more dramatic entrance into the world. But he's still smiling. Don't worry, folks. I'm sure everything will be okay. Yes, it gets a bit samey for me, and I'm sure for you. So I thought, let's do something different. But look, he's okay. He can take the knocks. He's going to have a lovely, lovely life. He's hardly going to be out of his box. He's going to have his moment on YouTube and be used a little bit, and then he'll be tucked safely away into semi-hibernation. He's not going to be in the back of a builder's lorry or a plumber's van, just being battered about with tins of paint and old pipes. He's going to be loved. So he's had a traumatic birth, but he's going to have a lovely, easy life, I can assure you. Right then. Yeah, he's a little bit scuffed up at the top. That's nothing to do with the birth, I'm sure, because he had this protective hat on. He just needs a bit of a polish before I show you him properly. Right, let's just pop that to one side. Oh, he's forgiven me. He doesn't mind, do you? Right, that's quite a short hose. That's shorter than I remember. So here we have a hose, and with Charles, it's not the tapered hose, it's a standard hose, the same diameter at the cleaner end as it is at the handle end. Oh, Charlie! He's also got stainless steel tubes now. I'm pretty sure the first Charles I showed on my channel had the lighter aluminium ones, so this is the same as the Henry wash. He now comes with this type of extension wand, and of course we've got the curved handle incorporating the suction control with plus or minus on it. Oh, they've packed his filter, unless that's a spare one, I doubt it. This is Charles's dry filter. Charles is wet and dry, so for dry use he needs a bag and he needs this filter. We've got the traditional now. Do you remember those nice coloured instructions that looked a bit like comic books I used to show? No, that's gone by the by now because it's just black and white. But we can get the gist. He's not exactly difficult to use, I'm sure. Here's a nozzle you don't get with a standard Henry. This should be the wet pickup squeegee nozzle. Indeed it is. Nice soft squeegees and 2 little wheels. So you can use that on large areas. So if your washing machine's overflowed, you've had a bit of a spillage somewhere on a hard floor, you can use this hard floor wet pickup nozzle. Also, if you manually scrub your kitchen floor on your hands and knees like they used to do back in the old days, you can scrub up and then suck up all the dirty water with that nozzle. Then we have the carpet and floor nozzle that comes with the Charles. It's probably the same that comes with George as well. Yes, it's the metal base plate one. I don't think it likes this carpet from memory. I actually, you know, I've grown. The other one's grown on me. The one you get standard with a Hetty or Henry. It's all plastic. That doesn't seem to skip. This does skip, I think. I'll try it out. But anyway, it's got a metal base plate. Suction channels, edge cleaning, litter pickers. And of course, you've got 2 pedals on this one. So brush up for carpets, press the pedal, and brush down for hard floors. There we go. And then, oh, we've got a bag here. 1 spare dust bag. Is that a bit bigger? Not sure. Anyway, it's an MVM 2BH. So I think it looks about the same as a Henry bag, but I think that's possibly the larger version. And then, oh, in a little brown bag. I think that's the first time I've opened a set of these tools that have come in a paper bag. So, your upholstery nozzle with the slide-on brush. Now, I found this sort of nozzle with the brush is really good for the car interior, especially for the car carpets, because you do get a bit of a agitation. It doesn't seem as stiff as before. Maybe, I don't know. It does seem a little bit softer. It's not suitable for dusting, but you know, stair carpets, car carpets, it just gives a bit of brushing action to help loosen the dirt. So that's your upholstery nozzle. Crevice tool for your nooks and crannies. Your adapter, so you can connect any of the tools directly to the hose end without having to use the curved handle. And we have the dusting brush for dusting your shelves, lampshades, worktops, delicate mouldings. You know, if you live in an older house that's got moulded panels or moulded doors or cornicing, all ornate, you know. So if Charles was to clean a palace, oh, you're named after King Charles, aren't you? I think Charles may have been named after Prince Charles, because a lot of the pneumatic machines have a royal name, don't they? Because we've got Henry, there was a King Henry, and Henrietta, I think there was a royal called Henrietta, I'm not sure, and a James, I'm sure there's been a royal called James. So yes, perhaps Numatic are after a royal warrant, but even though they're made in the UK, they haven't got one yet. Perhaps the Queen, well, it's not the Queen anymore. Perhaps the King doesn't like to use this sort of vacuum in his palaces, as if the King has ever touched a vacuum. I very much doubt it. His loss. It's the King's loss that he's never had the experience of going down all his nooks and crannies with a crevice tool. It's very satisfying, as I'm sure a lot of you watching will realise. Cleaning up is a satisfying thing to do, I think, anyway. Right, I just don't like tidying. I like the vacuuming. I don't like the tidying up beforehand, but I have to do it in order to get the vacuum or the carpet washer out. Okie dokie, so there's all the bits. I'm just going to polish Charles's hat, just with a bit of wax, just to... he's got a little bit of dust from the factory, and we'll have a closer look at him. So here he is, nicely polished up. He has forgiven me. We had a word off camera. He didn't mind that rather dramatic entrance, did you, Charlie boy? So the main difference between this Charles and my previous model is, well, 2 main differences. First of all, we have a front-mounted switch, which is easier to press than the rear-mounted one on the old version. So all the new wet, dry and multi-purpose pneumatics, domestic ones anyway, have this new front switch arrangement, so it's easier to switch on and off with this rocker switch than the push switch that they had previously. So it's 0 for off and that little single line for on. And of course we've got the new cord rewind system. So this rotates to release the cord and you pop it out to wrap the cord round, and also has an easier to replace cord. You can just undo these screws at the back and then the cord just pulls out. There's a plug on the end if you need to replace a damaged cord. It's a 5-minute job. I've shown that, I think, on a previous version, not of a Charles but of something else. I didn't replace the cord in the video because it was brand new, but I showed you how to do it. It's a similar thing. So here's the cord. I suspect it's 12 metre, but I'll put all the specifications under the video for you to check, and of course you can just go to myhenry.com where you'll see all the details there. So this is a 1000 watt motor. We'll do the suction test, but I think if he's anything like the Henry Wet and Dry or the George, he'll have a bit more suction than the Henry. I think it's 90 on the gauge rather than the 80 that Henry produces. So he does have a bit more suck. He's got a larger capacity, he's a bit heavier and a bit noisier. Let's take his hat off by pulling out his ears. Pop the base there. Oh, that's why the filter, I forgot. I know why the filter was in the box and not inside the cleaner. So there's the bottom, Charles's bottom there. Look, ooh, that's what produces the suck, that metal thing behind the grill, the motor. So that's that, and then inside we have the float valve. So it's exactly the same as Henry Wash and George. Always remember, folks, if you're going to use Charles for wet, you've got to take the bag and the filter out and replace it with the float valve. If you make a mistake, if you're panicking, you've got a flood and you start using Charles with the bag in, it's not going to do him any good. So spend an extra few seconds taking the bag out and popping the float valve in. You need the float valve because when Charles gets full, the float valve cuts the suction off. Now it's underneath this mesh filter here, which you can wash, or if you've got a small enough head you could put it over your head and rob a bank, but don't tell them I told you to. You'd have to have a very small head. It's probably best not to rob a bank if you can find one open anyway. So here we go. His little ball rises up in the float cage and cuts off the suction when you need to empty him of liquid, and you must do that as soon as the motor changes tone. It'll be a higher pitched tone. You must switch off and tip out the water or whatever you've been picking up, any liquid mess. So make sure the filter's always in place as well. Just keeps any stray particles from getting into the motor. So for wet use, wet pickup, this is how you'd use him. For dry, we need to put the bag in. So here's the inside, and always use the bag, folks. You can, there'll be a lot of clanging noises. Hang on. There we are. In practice, you can use Charles bagless like this. You can, but I wouldn't. The reason I say don't, because the filter will get dirty very quickly. You'll have to be brushing the filter clean. It's going to be messy to empty, and why have a bagged vacuum and have messy emptying? Just use a bag. Bags aren't expensive for these cleaners. I'd get the genuine ones as well. For the sake of £2 or £3 more, they're a lot better. So the bags just fit on just here. Now it used to say this way up. I got told off a few times for putting the bags in wrong. I don't know if it really matters. Personally, I always think this way up, but yeah, it doesn't actually say, and some say, oh no, put it with the writing uppermost. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, I'm going to push the bag. It's a nice tight fit, like so. Yeah, to me, I don't know, probably don't suppose it really matters, as long as there is a bag in there. Which way do you put the bag, folks? Comment below. Then when the bag's in, obviously the filter goes on top, and the filter also forms a seal. And then the motor. There you go, Charlie boy. You have to line it up. There's a little cutout here, look. Can you see the cutout? There. And there's a little sticky out bit. So you make sure. Now I think Numatic did this because a lot of people were using their Henrys with his hat on a bit skew with, and it was really affecting some people. They couldn't bear it. So as you can see, Charles, his name is nicely centered, and that's how it always should be. And you can't put him on the wrong way around anymore. You used to be able to do that, but no, it only goes on one way, like so. So now Charles is set up for dry use. Let me grab his hose. And of course, folks, apart from the tools I've shown you, there are many other tools you can buy that will fit Charles. If it fits a Henry or Hetty, it should fit a Charles. And if you've got an older pneumatic cleaner, you probably will find that any old tools will fit. So, as I said, this is a little adapter, which is good for car use because you don't want to have the handle. It just takes up more room when you're in the confines of a car. So for car cleaning, it is quite a short hose. Your hose has got shorter, I feel, Charlie boy. But anyway, he's good for the car, especially with this. I cleaned my mum's car. It wasn't with a pneumatic, it was with a Maytag Satellite, but that has a very similar nozzle to this, and I used it with a brush, and it really brought up my mum's car carpets nicely, and it was a very good, effective cleaner. And of course, one thing you definitely need in the car is the crevice tool. All those nooks and crannies, and a car has many, many nooks and crannies, doesn't it? You can buy a car kit for this that incorporates an extension hose and a flexible crevice tool, I think it is, and a mini turbo brush. And of course you can fit a full-size turbo brush to Charles. Go on myhenry.com and you can click on the accessories section and you can see all the tools available to fit Charles. But he comes with a good selection of tools. I would say Charles is better for a secondary cleaner. You could use him as your only vacuum, but he's not as convenient. I think a compact Henry or Hetty is more convenient for day-to-day home use. But for the big dirty jobs, and it says on the box for the tough stuff, then Charles is on hand, because you can use Charles when you're decorating or renovating your home. Take Charles out to your car, use him in your garage, use him on your patio. He'll suck up all sorts of things and he will continue to smile all the way through it. Even if you abuse him, he will always smile. Unless, of course, you take his face off and then he won't be able to see or smile. So we wouldn't want to do that. But his face, his 3D face, does come off. I'll see if I can take it off. I did attempt it when I unboxed the new version, Henry Wet and Dry. But it was stubborn. I think we have to take the hose out. Now there's a knack to it. I've had these off so easily in the past, but yeah, I don't know if I'm not going to attempt it. That one's also, you're supposed to release it from the top, but why would you? Why? You buy one of these because of the smiley face. Oh, they're good machines anyway, and Numatic sell many machines, industrial and commercial ones, that don't have a face, and it is rather sad when you see one of these out in the wild without a face. I wonder what the pneumatics with a face think of the faceless ones. They must think of them as, I don't know, zombies or something. What do you think, Charles? Oh, he's not bothered. Yep, he's not bothered. It doesn't matter if they don't have a face, as long as they've got a nose that screws on to suck up all the dirt. That's all that matters. Oh, also on Charles, hang on. Take his nose off again. There we are. On the back, we've got a nice additional handle, which you don't get on Henry Wash, which is a shame, but you do get on Charles. So when you've used Charles for wet pickup, you can take the bucket outside. Obviously there won't be the filter and bag in, just a lot of dirty water. Then you can tip him up. You can hold him at the bottom here, tip him up and give him a wipe out. Certainly if you've used Charles for wet, make sure he's dry. And that's another thing, if you're going to use him for wet a lot, I personally would buy an additional set of dry tools, because It's easy enough to dry out the container once you've used it for wet, but often the hose can still have moisture in it. So if you've used Charles to pick up liquids and then quite soon after, if the hose is still damp inside, the dirt you suck up is going to start to coat the inside of the hose and start to smell. Of course, the whole hose can be submerged in soapy water to give it a good clean from time to time if you're picking up very nasty things. But yeah, so that's where George comes in, because the George comes with both sets of tools, a set for wet use and a set for dry. Right, your nose is not going on properly now. He's getting his own back because, don't cross thread the nose. Let me just, there we go. There we are. I have a feeling he's going to get revenge on me. Maybe you're going to blow up. He might blow up when I switch him on. Because he was a breech birth, weren't you? Or no, that's the other one. You were head first. That's normal. Right. Head is normal, isn't it? Head normally comes out first, followed by the feet, or in this case, the wheels. And he does have... Oh, stop it! Naughty boy. It's my fault. Oh, look, sorry. Look, I've apologised. Yes? Come on. Just don't show me up. Right, I don't think I clipped him in properly. Hang on, that's in right. You're just going to make sure he's clipped in properly. Line him up. Right, that's it. Okay. What else am I going to show you? On the back here, because he's a bit bigger, we have space for 4 tools without having to piggyback them. So we can have the crevice tool, we can have the upholstery tool, we can have the dusting brush, and separately we can have the little adapter. I don't know if we could put anything else on there instead of. Let's have a look, see if we can shove extra things on. Can we put the wet pickup nozzle? I know where the wet pickup nozzle can go. No, it won't go there, but look, possibly. Not really. Let's put that back there. Now, although for storage you could put the wet pickup nozzle there, but not in use because, well, yeah, it sort of rubs against the floor. So no, I wouldn't do that. That's the parking slot. So you can park the wet nozzle or the carpet and floor nozzle. Just slots into the back. But I think, let's see, there's that in the way. I'm wondering if the new hook gets in the way of that. So we've got the wands. You've got to push and twist. Some people complain that the wands fall apart, and other people complain that they can't get the wands apart. So it is, sometimes they do fuse together if you leave them. Yeah, it's sort of, well, it does go. Hang on. It's, no, it's okay. It does almost encroach. Yeah, it is a bit in the way, that hook, but you can still use the storage bracket. Doodah. Right, Charlie boy, we'll get out the suction gauge. I think you're going to measure 90 if you're anything like the Henry Wash. Don't blow up, will you? I'm hoping he's going to be okay. He's not going to show me up. He is off, so we'll plug him in. There we are. Switch him on. Right, let's see if he works. Yep, you work. Sounds just like, yeah, he's got the smell. He's got new motor smell. Don't worry if it smells a bit funny when he first starts up. For the first few uses, you might notice a sort of electrically burning smell, but it's just the motor bedding down. You know, I don't think they run the motors in. I think in the olden days, used to run the motors in. This is years and years ago. But nowadays, they just put new motors in and they run in after, you know, a bit of use in the home. So yes, he might smell a little bit electrical, but that will fade, I'm pretty sure. Right, where's my suction doobry? I've had him out recently. Come on. Oh, got my suction doobry. So I think you're going to be very similar to the Henry Wash suction wise. So I'm going to predict 90 on the suction gauge. Yes, as I predicted, Charles measured 90 on the sealed suction gauge compared to 80 for a regular Henry or Hetty. This is the curved handle, fits onto the hose. You can use it this way, and this is the way I would use it for carpet and floors, or you can turn it this way and use it. This way is better for reaching up high. In fact, you can attach it. Let me just show you. Instead of putting the curved handle into the hose, you can fit the wands directly into the hose, and you can fit the curved handle on the end of the wand. Now this is useful for cleaning up high. So if I grab my dusting brush, which is now on board, now you can see that the dusting brush is at the top, so you could reach up and clean tops of your wardrobes and kitchen cupboards, etc., like this, or you know, mouldings. You might have a picture rails in your house, or you may have cornices that are quite, you know, moulded, and you know, if you live in a traditional sort of house, and those sort of mouldings can attract dust, and you can use that. That seems a little bit stiffer than previously. I don't know, I'm gonna have to get all of them out at some stage and just compare them all. That would be a big video, I'm afraid. Very, very difficult to do, the amount I've got. But anyway, right, so we don't want it that way, we want it the other way. Now take that off. And the thing about pneumatics, they're easy to repair. If they go wrong, they're repairable. Parts for these cleaners are widely available all over the place. So you can keep one of these working for many, many years. They're not disposable cleaners. They are made to be fixed. And they will take more knocks and abuse than most cleaners. So there's the main domestic carpet floor nozzle. Don't use this for wet pickup because it's got the metal base, that'll start to rust. This is for dry use only. Yes, that does fit on. Whew. It is hard going actually, is this carpet. On a shorter pile carpet, much easier to push, but you can of course buy one of the aero brush, the full-sized aero brush, which does make it a lot easier to push on thicker pile carpets, or get a Turbo Cat. I've featured the Turbo Cat a couple of times on my channel. I'm not sure if the eBay seller still has them at around £50, which is a good price, because normally they cost a lot more than that. But the Turbo Cat, for me, is the ultimate air-powered nozzle to fit to one of these pneumatic cleaners. It is better, I have to say, than the one you can get direct. Or you can get the German-made Vesselwerk versions. They're also good. Ooh, you've given me a workout, Charlie boy. I do prefer an upright, I have to say, for carpet cleaning. A bit easier to use. Unfortunately, we can't get an upright cleaner. You're doing it again. Stop mucking me about. The hose is a bit shorter than I remembered. I don't know. Come on. Keep your hose there while that's it. Stay. Stay. Good boy. I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yes. Numatic don't, at the time of making this video, produce an upright, and a lot of people would like to see an upright cleaner. There was a model called the Swift many years ago, very rare model. It's more like a stick type cleaner with a motorized head. But I'm sure a lot of viewers, and comment below if you'd like to see a mains powered bagged upright from Numatic. Even a commercial environment would benefit from an upright. I think Sebo sell a lot of uprights for commercial use. For large areas of carpeting, can't beat an upright. But most commercial environments, shops, offices, etc. do have a pneumatic cleaner. They're hard work for lots and lots of carpet. They're versatile, but I think an upright for larger areas carpet would be good. So, you know, hopefully Numatic might be thinking of that. The only upright type machine we have at the moment, of course, is the quick range, but that's a cordless machine. It still has a bag, which is a plus, but it's cordless. So can you imagine how fantastic it would be in the bright colours, in the red, blue, yellow and green colours of the standard Henry, if Numatic could produce an upright cleaner. They could still have a face, maybe on the bag housing or on the floor head. That would be fantastic. That's my dream. Let's, fingers crossed, 2025, Numatic launch a domestic, brightly coloured upright cleaner. So are you listening? Please, My Henry and Numatic International, get your fingers out and give us what we want. Give the public what they demand, which is a bagged, mains-powered Henry upright vacuum. Right, let's see if it happens. If it does, I would like one sent so I can show it on my channel. There you go, that's Charles. That'll do for now. I will at some point show Charles in action, but you get the gist. I've mainly unboxed him because I'm about to make a comparison video, because a lot of people want to know the difference between Charles, George and Henry Wash. So you will have seen that video by now, because that's why I've opened him out. So the next video I film today is going to be that video. If you haven't seen it, there'll be a link somewhere that you can click, either at the end of the video. I'll put it underneath this video if you want to know all the differences between Charles, Henry Wet and Dry and George. So if you have any questions or comments about Charlie Boy, please comment below, and don't forget, comment below if you want to see a mains powered bagged Henry upright, and hopefully Numatic International might see those comments and get their design team on it. Wouldn't that be absolutely brilliant? So for me and Charles, who I think has forgiven me, it's bye for now, and thanks for watching.